Welcome back, everyone, to Suzred, Swordland, Fang. Now, I've been experiencing audio issues, and I don't know. I don't know. I really have no idea what's going on. You might hear nothing on your end, problematic, but I'm just warning you. There might just be random fucking static out of nowhere. I'm not sure why. When things defy logical explanation, I get, mad and depressed. A lot. And this has been something that has made me very angry over today. Because I changed literally nothing in my audio settings, and the microphone decides to pick up only static instead of my voice. Then I revert back to other stuff. Doesn't work. Then it just out of the blue works. I'm Todd Howard. It just works. Anyway, the administration had been working day and night on the overwhelming issues that were facing the country. The department sent several documents which required my signature so that they could start working on the new decisions that were taken. After I signed dozens of them, I closed my eyes to relax for a moment. After another long day. Even though I really wished to leave the palace for the day, Lucian had earlier told me that the Chief Justice wanted to speak to me. We planned to meet in the office in 30 minutes. So, basically, here comes Lucian first. Good evening. So, the Chief Justice, the motherfucker, insisted on seeing you this evening. I do not know what he has to say, but it will probably be about the new constitution, of course. He'll be coming shortly with Judge Mr. Garachi to the meeting. We shouldn't take them lightly. Let's see. Here comes Orso Hawker, the motherfucker, and Judge Heron Garachi.
Good evening, Mr. President. It's great to see you.
Evening. Welcome. Okay,
May I?
Sure. All right. It's been very busy, but I'm doing good. It will only get more busy, of course, considering what's happening around us with all the shootings near the palace and soldiers on our borders. It is a troubling time. So you should probably just cooperate and be helpful instead of, ruining my shit. The Supreme Court does not approve of the new constitution. Who would have thunk it? The constitution needs to be updated, sir. I am sure you're well aware of the public demand and our circumstances.
Is that so? I see that you are the one who is not aware of the actual circumstances. You want to make a weaker constitution in the midst of problems from both inside and outside. Even if your proposal passes the assembly, I will make sure that it will not pass the Supreme Court. That much is clear.
Of course. Of fucking course. So, essentially, if you'll recall, Orso Hawker is a super conservative guy and doesn't want really much infringement on Seoul's constitutional order. You haven't even seen the proposal. Isn't it too soon to be against it?
Do you think I live under a rock, Mr. President?
Of course. Okay, so they seem to have a good cop, bad cop kind of thing going on between the two. Please explain.
We are protecting the Constitution because it works, Mr. President. Of course. Mr. President, I know you're a busy man, so I will make this quick. We know all We all know that Swordish security forces found stashes of Rumburgian weaponry in the hideouts of Bloodish separatists, of course. They are weaponizing our minorities against us. It is not unprecedented to think that the Bloods will start their terror again with their new toys. Not to mention that the fights that broke out between the left and right wing after the shooting of Bernard Circus. Communists are rising with the support of United Contana. The chaos is imminent for Swordland. And sadly, we don't see the administration taking the necessary precautions. You said you will not focus on the military during your term. Under current circumstances, that cannot be tolerated at any costs. Of course. The court has no jurisdiction over these matters. The only reason they are not in the assembly is because of the electoral threshold. And all of a sudden, the reformists are trying to decrease the electoral threshold, and so the Bloodish separatists can be legitimized in the assembly to achieve their aims of independence. That makes absolutely no sense. Like, that literally just makes absolutely no sense. I suspect his intentions are grander. Okay. Do you see the patterns yet? I apologize, gentlemen, but I am not a conspiracy theorist. We take the necessary measures against communist and bloodish plots, as well as increasing our military budget against a possible conflict with Rumburg. Which I agree to the last one. Okay. Let him talk, sure. The person in question is Mr. Franz Richter himself, the leader of the reformists. We have enough information to infer that he has ties with Arcasia. I love how basically we went from like the Rumburgian Bloodish separatists to the United Contanan communists, and they're all being supported by the Arcasian Franz Richter, and it's like, you know, all those people have conflicting interests. That is a conspiracy theory. He has been spotted in a hotel in Arcasia last year where they held the Conference on Economic Development in Volatile Regions. Right around that time, he started to influence the masses into believing that our constitution is the reason for everything bad. For everything bad. His trip was not documented, nor was he an official guest of the conference. We believe that he had a meeting with President Walker behind closed doors. Of course. How did you find out about this? Many Solists were already following his leads for quite some time, Mr. President. Okay, of course. See, like... Yeah, of course they're real. But see, like, the thing is, even if they're real and it's like, yeah, he's an Arcasian agent, I mean, we already knew he was a liberal, right? How does that tie into a larger conspiracy plot to, like, support the communists and the separatists to destroy Swordland? He's an I guess...
I mean, yeah, of course the Arcasians are behind the Reformists. It's obvious. They want us to have a weaker administration while we face all these threats. I bet Rumburg is a part of the plan too. Of course. Yup, we do need to check the information. If we work together, we can be sure that the Supreme Court will not block your declaration of emergency. Oh, that... You want me to declare an emergency? Which means you might need to suspend parts of the Constitution to give more authority to our security forces to deal with these issues, of course. You can devise a strong security decree if you can base it on the Articles 75 and 57 and 58, which gives the president the right to suspend parts of the Constitution to deal with national security threats. Of course. You can directly bypass the assembly in such a situation. Nope. Regardless of our situation, I'll be proceeding with the reforms. I think it's I mean, I was about to shout enough, but... Need to make sure that our reforms will pass the court, and of course he will be doing whatever he can to damage me. There are still many Old Guard sympathizers in our party. We will definitely try. Trials of Democracy. Here we go. I wonder how these trials are gonna shape up. These so-called trials of democracy. Okay, so we have a ton of news all over the place. Communist books burned, of course. Burns. Bloodish resistance in sanctuaries. The report came from an elderly man who wanted to pray in peace, but instead found himself invited to join the Bloodish Freedom Front by a state-sanctioned priest. Damn. Swordland has state-sanctioned priests, apparently. Bit like the French Republic used to. Narbel reports a lack of hospitals. Oh, really? You report a lack of hospitals? Okay, sure. Recession hits farmers again. Need to deal with this recession, god damn it. School poisoning? Where 12 students died after eating a free meal laced with pesticide. Ooh, okay. Van Horten blames Falksland for the missing fishing vessel. Alright. So... Okay, so we have tensions heating up in the Markian Sea. Yeah, of course. Bunch of radical stuff. Questioning Solist education. Sorland was rated 39th of the 68 nations that were assessed by the OMEC organization.
Based on the principles of statism, nationalism, republicanism poisons the bright minds of our children. We need to rid the system from the poison that is the ideological indoctrination and let our future generations think for themselves. Impossible. Upcoming government budget changes. Okay. Yes. All right. Barbecue with Frank. Okay. I know you've got the most stressful job in the country. I feel like there's so much you've been hiding from me. Yeah, and? Dad, is there going to be a civil war in Swordland? I don't know. We'll see. Let's talk about it. Sure. Let's tell Frank about the coup of 1927. And of course... tell him that you ran for your life like a coward. I should have stood my ground, of course. Let's tell him about the Civil War, of course. I'm not gonna tell him about the girl, of course. You joined the Young Swords back then, but do you want to be a fascist, you fucking cunt? I think he wants to be a fascist. Swordland was under attack by the communists and I had to defend the country. You're damn right. Your generation will never understand. I can be a boomer. Now let's hear about. Oh. Of course. Prisoners riot in the Until Rock prison. Oh, really now? So political prisoners rioting, more than industrial output concerns. They're requesting additional support to improve their industrial capacity, including machinery and personnel, to combat the downward trend. The construction of 7 new factories in Morna, the mayor stated his belief that an economic upturn in the city is still possible if the government invests succeed. I see. Okay, so Lauren can be revitalized with just a little bit of investment, apparently. So say the Lorenese. Okay, L1 report. The work has been going well and they have already started laying down the foundations. Project supervisors confirmed the report, saying that the preliminary work has been done by the SSC. However, government officials added that there were a couple of delays related to transportation of construction materials, which were not included in the SSC report. Yeah, obviously. We thought that this was going to happen. USP reports on reforms. Alright, presidential visit to Narbel, the western city in the region of Nargis, for the Rural Development Forum organized by the Ministry of Health and Education. Mountainous city of Narbel had gritty tones to it. It's mostly regarded as one of the poorer cities in Sortland. Its people were hardy and wary. Even after the discovery of natural resources in the area, years of neglect by the central government were apparent on the buildings and on the general infrastructure. Natural resources, namely gas and oil, were now under the control of Gazum, which elevated the corporation into a place of power. My task in this forum was merely symbolic: fake smiles and handshakes with oil barons, meeting with local politicians, but most of all, make sure that Narbel does not feel like it was being forgotten by the government. I mean, it is, but yeah. The scenery so far, however, was a reflection of Narbel's neglect. Main roads to the city were not maintained well. There were many bumps and the scullers spotted in the asphalt. Navigating and swerving to avoid the inconveniences, our motorcade finally started nearing the city. My children can talk to me if they want. It is up to them. To be honest, that's kind of how I feel about, like, most people. So let's just... I know it's probably... It's probably, like, kind of supposed to be the heartless thing to say, but yeah. I hope the hospital have a good service, of course. It's hard for everyone. Large 25-story main building. Holy shit. It's massive. I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be 5-story, but whatever. Had been a target of protest when it was first built. Okay. Yeah, everyone is doing the thing. Alright. Tons of news. Protest appeal calmer. Good, good. Attacker opened fire on protesters. Ooh. Shocking misogynist rally. Oh no.
Seoul needs to answer for his crime. Yeah, this is something that's been on the back of my mind. Like, what if at some point someone's going to, like, try to start a campaign to get this guy in prison? It's like, what am I gonna do? It's kind of a tough problemo. Labor Union Rights March. Undemocratic elections of Swordland, of course. Education privatization proven successful. Oh, really now? Of course. Of course. Okay, PFJP report on reforms. He declared that without the implementation of term limits and limited decrees, it will be very difficult for him and his party to stand behind. Of course. Young Swords suspected for terror attack. Yeah, fascists. Briefing on the current welfare situation. Pascal Benivol walked up to me as the Minister of Health. My Minister of Health was ironically somewhat portly, having gained a few pounds since his breakthrough as a best-selling writer. Okay. Such a spectacular view. Chiara Walda, Minister of Education, joined us on the balcony, dressed in a sky blue pantsuit. Her preference for trousers over dresses made her the subject of much palace gossip, but didn't seem to bother her in the slightest. Okay. I mean, it's 1953. Spectacular indeed. But if you look at the opposite direction, you will see what Seoul's decades of neglect did to the city. Most people living in Narbel are workers, farmers, and their wives and children. They're breaking their backs for close to no pay, all thanks to the greedy corporations. We can't really blame the companies, that's just how they work. Yes, we can. Similar companies are doing much better for their workers in United Contana and Arcasia. Oh no! Social market economy! Okay. Rather than bowing to the wishes of the hawks and fearmongers in the establishment and diverting yet more resources to the military and law enforcement. I mean, we do need the resources to the military, but yeah. I've been working on improving the rights of workers in our country and have proposed a draft bill that is currently being reviewed by our party. Mr. Clavin has already backed me and gave us support. He is the leader of the Progressives. Swordland has fallen behind most countries on this subject, and it is my responsibility to ensure that this is not the case. Yes. Make a decision that would need to evaluate the contents in detail, but yeah. Tell me more about your plans, Kiara. So Swordfish education is free, but we have a very outdated system that I want to reform. The other important issue is the lack of access to education in rural areas, especially for young girls.
My highest priority is to get enough funding to be able to build schools in rural areas while I cleanse our educational system of its nationalistic indoctrination and sexist teachings. Tell me the difference between the urban and rural. Urban areas have 3 times the number of schools per 10,000 people compared to rural areas. Okay, so 3 times as much. What is the literacy rate? 80%. Needs to increase, yeah. How many students and teachers do we have? So currently there are about 5 million students. 3 million in primary education, 1 million in secondary, and 1 million in tertiary. There are 155,316 teachers. Want to hear about the healthcare system? As you wish, Mr. President. So, Swordland has a free healthcare system except for a few private hospitals operating under it. Most of the populace receives adequate treatment. Okay. Health issues primarily appear in rural areas due to a lack of services. I'm doing my best that citizens of all ages can receive the best healthcare they can. Also, personally want to solve the high infant and high maternal mortality problems. Okay, what's the life expectancy? 65 years. Infant mortality rate is a worrying 85 per 1,000 births. That's actually a lot. Like right now it's, I think, less than 10 currently today. Like 2020. Well, our maternal mortality is at 90%. Or sorry, 90 per 1,000. 90% maternal mortality would be insane. Yes. How many beds are there for 10,000 citizens? 10 beds for 10,000 citizens, which is a very good number according to our comparisons with other neighbors. Okay. We see a much lower numbers in the countries of Agnolia and Vekland, but we obviously can match Lespiel or Vaxland. How many doctors and nurses are employed? Yes. This is not just about Sol or even Alfonso failing. The decay in Swordland's forgotten regions has been going on for many decades due to structural corruption, which is fueled by capitalism. Greed and unchecked capitalism will not magically provide for the people. What is her plan? They require an increase in the government budget. I aim to solve the problems we highlighted with the allocated money. By building schools in less fortunate rural areas and through fundamental changes in the education system, I will unlock the potential of all of our children, boys and girls alike. Okay, so Mr. Pascal is actually kind of more towards wanting to privatize hospitals, which is weird.
Weird, weird, weird. All right. So, how long has this been going on? 35 minutes. That is a lot. I think we should generally head towards any... Oh, mining disaster. Looks like Ciara, or Kiara, or Chara, or whatever her name is, has got some interesting ideas. And, oh, decapitation. And yeah, we have workplace accidents and all that stuff. You know, not good stuff. Workers' rights bill nears completion. So that's the bill Pascal was working on that he mentioned at the meeting. Yes, this seems like a good idea. We're gonna pass it. The leader of the NFP has announced today the NFP is completely against any threshold reform, of course. So the far right is angry, but when are they not? When are they not? So, that's going to be the end for today. Next time, we're going to need to take a look at the banning of youth organizations. So, yeah. I want to thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed. And I'll see you soon.